competence. We cannot assign a project that they don't have the baseline skills. So when you identify what's going to be learned, ensure that they have the baseline skills, and if they don't, you have to lesson plan, you have to teach them and scaffold that part even more. I can't expect something related to calculus if they haven't even done basic differentiation. If they don't even know basic mathematical process, how can I move into a more advanced project in that field? How can I advance into a major research project if they don't know how to document sources? So identify those skills that you're emphasizing. We can't emphasize them all at the same time. You have to prioritize for the student, and you get focused in. So this would be developing projects. That was a little activity, but we don't. Any questions?
We started late, Matt, so if you want to go
if we can go back. I want you to think, these are some things as you design a project, what product needs to be created at the end. And maybe you don't have a specific product, but projects result in a product. It's not a completed worksheet. It's a product, something that can be shown to other people. So what product, as you plan a project, what concepts within your subject area or multiple subject areas are you really emphasizing? That concept, that knowledge. Okay? We know they're going to gain some knowledge. Which ones are you emphasizing? But beyond that, what skills are required to complete this, and what skills will then be demonstrated? They need some skills before even beginning. They said if they're doing something that involves documentation of research, but they don't know what MLA style or APA style or Chicago style, if they don't know that, what you're setting up an unreasonable expectation. They're not competent. If they feel like they're going to fail before they begin, we have a problem. So when you're thinking about it, identify 4 factors at the beginning of the unit, at the beginning of the project. And once we know what those things are, you work through backward planning. You go backwards. You know the end result, and you go to the beginning. And be very specific in your end result, because then it's easier for the students to see what happens next. So I really want, this is really what it comes down to when you design a project, because that's what goes onto your rubric. That's what you give to the students the day you assign the project. They don't find out about their grades just at the end. They're able to grade themselves along the process. Really get them invested, that autonomy. Give them some control, because that is motivating. Everybody here has some interest outside of your job, I'm sure. And I'm sure you find it very motivating. It's Tuesday and you're going, I can't wait until Saturday when I get to go do this. It's very motivating because that's what you want. You're working toward that. Well, we need, give that to the students too. And the other thing, I have a whole bunch of suggestions. I have a guide with dozens of different project ideas that can be individualized for a subject area or become that interdisciplinary unit. And that's really a point of emphasis, should be a point of emphasis in the high school environment, because your life isn't going to happen in a vacuum. You have to work with others. You have, things span different subject areas. You're not just doing math, you're not just doing biology. When you get out into life, things interact with each other and work together. And you expect students to collaborate at times, but sometimes the teachers don't want to collaborate. And if it can carry over into multiple classes, it can feel less stressful, because when I'm getting multiple grades for a single assignment, there's a little, that investment and that motivation can be a little bit higher for the student, because it may not be as overwhelming for one reason, or it just connects with the subject area that they like, even if it also carries over into a subject that they may not enjoy as much. I teach history. I know students come in and they just don't want to be in history class. They think it's boring, which is fine. They don't like history, but they still like coming to class because we can give them something that's motivating. They don't necessarily have to like the content, but you can get them to like learning. And that is why projects are very useful.
Matt, a comment, a question, and Christine has a question.
Absolutely.
One is for future learning. He mentioned briefly self-determination theory, and I just wanted to mention in 2007 and 2008, which is when I was writing the charter application for the school, about 25% of our applications was based on us implementing self-determination theory. Ryan, Desi, DECI, and also Pestalozzi. Those are the major philosophical foundations on which this school was based. It took us 5 years to get there because we pretty much opened up with a traditional staff, and we decided to make that transition over time. So self-determination theory, if you go research on that, basically has to do with these concepts of relatedness, competence, kids working with their hands. The self-determination theory is what you're hearing here, that kids learn by doing rather than just by listening to, that they need peer interaction and all these things that you're hearing. So self-determination theory will give you, if you research that, it will give you the foundation of where all this stuff is coming from. Question two.
There are a lot of journal articles for free. There are websites that just post it everywhere.
Yeah, but basically self-determination theory is what we're talking about here, and that's what it was supposed to be from the get-go at this school, and we're trying to implement it authentically now. Will you share this PowerPoint with them via email, or is this something that you only use for?
No, absolutely. No, go. I'm always willing to share.
Okay.
I'm always willing to share.
Because I'm sure many of them will. I see them taking notes.
I know. It gets so fast. You don't have computers. I'm always willing to share. I have a website for my class, and I put everything on it. I really want it to be available at any time.
Before your question, Andrew.
And the guide, you said you had like a database.
I'm building it up. I mean, it's an extensive list at this point, with some of them being more detailed than some examples. You know, we get stuck in this mindset. Maybe in language arts or history, you have them write a biography of something. Well, in this day, we could also have them do a LinkedIn profile and create a resume. You need to have just as much knowledge about that person's history to write a resume for them. You need to do the same thing for a Facebook profile. Who's going to be their friends? Who's their family? We got to create these connections. And then we can link it into some things that they're more active on. I have students that request me on LinkedIn. I can't be their friend yet. I can't connect to them until after they graduate. But they do have these things. Same thing using Twitter to create a synopsis of something. Extremely challenging. My students shy away from that. How do you get a speech or some major important idea or concept down to 140 characters? How well do they truly understand? So there's a lot of different ideas. I could share some of those examples in that list wherever Steve is at. I'm not sure. Yeah, Steve has. I've been updating it, so I have a little more advanced. But I'm more than happy to share those as well.
Okay, so I have a question, either your opinion or what other teachers do. So